Well, welcome to the 700 Club. Kamala Harris was on the offensive in the presidential debate last night. The vice president knew where all the pressure points were on Donald Trump, and she knew it right from the beginning.
Well, the former president, in turn, appeared angry and criticized Harris for flip-flopping on her policies. Chief political analyst David Brody has the story from Philadelphia.
Kamala Harris.
Right from the get-go, Kamala Harris came out aggressive, intent on getting under Donald Trump's skin, and she didn't let up.
People start leaving his rallies early. Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace.
It seemed to work as Trump appeared angry and frustrated for much of the debate. While he talked a lot about his signature issue of immigration, he also veered off course, talking about a recent unverified story of Haitian immigrants in Ohio repeatedly eating dogs and other pets.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals.
Well, I've seen people on television.
As for actual policy, Harris didn't offer much, including on the economy, which is the #1 issue for voters.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan. And it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes.
Trump also pointed out her change in positions in 2020 to new, more moderate ones, such as emphasizing immigration enforcement.
Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat.
Harris, though, pushed back, especially when Trump tried to define her position on Israel.
But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people.
He also tried to paint her as a radical on the Second Amendment and fracking.
This is a radical left liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day 1.
Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
Harris then sought to turn the tables and go on offense against Trump on abortion.
If Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban.
Afterwards, Trump surrogates filled the spin room, expressing major concern about a liberal slant of questions from the debate moderators, calling it a 3-on-1 ambush.
It's my view that the moderators ruined this debate, and I think it prevented us from being able to analyze what each candidate did or didn't do.
Harris surrogates shot back.
Conservatives are saying this was a 3-on-1 debate. That's the spin tonight.
That's what losing campaigns say.
But don't tell that to the former president, who made a surprise stop in the spin room to say he had the best debate ever, despite the moderators.
The moderators were very unfair, but it basically was 3-on-1. But I thought they were very unfair.
Well, it seemed to be a loser, if you will, for President Trump. He seemed to be on the defensive throughout. I'm just surprised at the debate prep that they didn't prepare him, that Harris would definitely try to hit his pressure points and try to make him angry, because that's exactly what she was trying to do, and she appears to have succeeded. Now the issue for you and I as voters is this going to make a difference? And if so, how so? I think Harris had a lot to win last night, and I think she won. And Trump had a lot to lose. He could have turned the tables. But now we're into the final stretch. There won't likely be another debate. We'll see. But my prediction is there won't be. And now the battle is on for the undecided voters in these swing states. I don't think it's going to change a single Trump vote. And those who came into the debate supporting Harris will continue to come out supporting Harris. So it's now up to the undecideds, and it's now up to voter turnout. And we'll see how it goes. I do note that after the debate, my phone absolutely blew up because Taylor Swift gave an endorsement to Harris. And of all the things to happen after a presidential debate, to see that kind of news dominate everything was a real surprise to me. Well, in other news, Israeli Defense Forces have released a video of the tunnel in Gaza where 6 hostages, including an American, were murdered. Hamas executed them just before Israeli soldiers arrived to rescue them. Chris Mitchell brings us that story from Jerusalem.
We're going to go down into the tunnel shaft 20 meters below where the hostages were murdered.
Chief IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari described the scene.
They were here in this tunnel in horrific conditions where there is no air to breathe, where you cannot stand. And they survived, but they were murdered by terrorists. This is their blood. This is the blood of Hirsch, Eden, Carmel, Ori, Almog, and Alex. They were heroes, and they were here in this tunnel for weeks or days. We will find out.
Hagari reminded viewers that there are up to 101 hostages still remaining in Hamas hands, with an unknown number still alive. In a videotaped message, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he is doing everything he can to return the hostages and win the war. Israel's hostage envoy, Gal Hirsch, told Bloomberg News Israel has offered Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar safe passage out of Gaza if his terrorist group will give up power there. That could lead to freedom for the rest of the hostages and the end of the war. Meanwhile, Netanyahu is blasting an international criminal court prosecutor after he urged the court this week to immediately issue arrest warrants for Netanyahu and his defense minister for war crimes in Gaza. Netanyahu calling that, quote, pure anti-Semitism for its own sake and moral disgrace of the First Order, saying the court's proceedings are, quote, politically biased. But a different action Tuesday from Switzerland's lower house of parliament, which voted to immediately suspend funding for UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. The Swiss Senate must still approve it. The lawmaker behind the legislation told the Jerusalem Post, in UNRWA schools, children are taught to hate Jews and Israel. If terrorism is glorified, anti-Semitism is stoked, and violence is incited in UNRWA schools, then one should not ask why a cruel act of terror like that of October 7th could have occurred. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, I applaud Switzerland for cutting all UNRWA funding, and I think the United States could do it. President Trump cut UNRWA funding, said we're not going to support this group. What they're doing is educating Palestinian children in hate. They're educating them to destroy Israelis, to kill Jews, and our taxpayer dollars shouldn't go into that. In the first week of Biden's presidency, he restored that funding, and it's just amazing to me that it's still in place. That needs to be job number one. Can we stop funding terrorism, and can we stop it today?